It's going to be almost 12 o'clock, right? 1 minute. So let me go with good afternoon, fellow Americans. Today I want to come with some information here. I'm going to start off with, let me see who it was. Let me start off first with from Jihad Watch, like always. They never fail. There's always something about the Muslims killing, murdering en mass people because of their faith, because of their Christian faith. And these other people, the liberals here, so the communists, so-called liberals, and disguised as the Democrat Party, they support everything that's evil. Bernie Sanders, AOC, all of them. And if you say anything else, they're going to say you're racist, you're an Islamophobe, which is true. We have a reason to be Islamophobe because 9/11 gave that reason. And everything these people are doing, murdering en mass people because of their beliefs. And you support that? Well, yes, we are Islamophobe. And we accuse you of being just pure evil. And the true racists, because if you know they're killing Christians, that makes you a racist against Christianity and those who follow the faith. So the true racists are you, those who support terrorism. Michael Moore is one of them. Robert De Niro is another one, who I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. And let me see what else. Danny DeVito, another one who's joined the Bernie Sanders, another communist now. Another one who's willing to give up. Hey, I praise him. Hey, let me applaud Danny DeVito. Hey, at least there's somebody who brave enough and humble enough, which I believe is more stupid enough to give up all his wealth in return for, let's say, if he's lucky enough, $4 a month, and a ration card would won't last enough food for barely 10 days, like what was happening in Cuba. And I still think it's happening. Probably worse. I don't know. I'm not living there. I don't know what's happening. They're oppressing and banning and censoring freedom of press. So, we have no way of knowing, because almost all the dissidents that were denouncing the abuses and the lack of freedom and denouncing all these lacks of food and medicine and all this kind of other stuff, good stuff, which we all, thank God, have in abundance. Everyone here in this country cannot say that we lack that here in the United States, or in the island where I live at, here in Puerto Rico, which is part of the United States, or Hawaii, which is another it's a state, Guam, which is part of the United States. And then there's other, I think it's let me see. I don't think it's a state. It's well, I forgot the name of these small islands in the Atlantic. And I just can't figure out people that are wealthy, that living to be destroyed. That De Niro, well, I guess you're just as evil as the persons you portray in your movies, in your mafia movies, and these killing and murders. Maybe you're just as evil. Maybe you're seeking to see blood flow of Americans all throughout the United States. But Danny DeVito, I couldn't figure out he was one of them. Hey, Danny, can you answer this, or why? Why? Why are you supporting Bernie Sanders, one of the most evil characters? You know, it doesn't take much to know that he's one of the worst. He's supporting everything evil. Hamas, Palestine, well, not Palestinian, because there might be some Palestinian, there might be some Christian Palestinians that are good people. I doubt it, because I don't think that they have any more left. But you are supporting the Muslim Brotherhood, going over there and visiting with care and photographing yourself with Ian Omar and Talib and all these other people who support evil. If there was another United States, or another country like the United States, and I was living there, I would just love to see these people fall under that system and see what would be the turnout about them. What would happen to them? How would they feel later on when they have nothing left, living in maybe in a dumpster, or maybe in one of their houses, or maybe no houses, because everything's going to turn over to the dictatorship that's going to be taken power by the communists. If that ever happened, they will take everything you have. Or probably let you live in one of the part of the mansion, with a lot of people invading the place. Oh no, I need a living space, like what happened in the movie Chicago, where the doctor came back from helping out the revolutionaries, and when he came back, his whole mansion was invaded by occupiers, and he had to confirm himself and sleep in one of the rooms. The house no longer his. Well, I guess they're masochists. They're very masochistic. They love pain, and they love to suffer. And they love to die horrible death. So, you got them. You got them. You got them. Well, this is the religion of peace. They killed it. Nigeria Muslims. Let me see the whole thing here. Nigeria Muslims murder 7, burn church and homes in Christian Eve jihad raid on Christians and Christian village. To take to care of the number of Muslim persecution of Christian Nigeria would be Islamic. Check this out. To care about the ongoing Muslim persecution of Christian Nigeria would be Islamophobic. And I already read it to you. Seven killed in Nigeria jihadist attack on Christmas Eve. And we are the conservative who complain about this or denounce it. We are Islamophobic. We are racist. Look, I don't care what happens to these people. I'm with supporting Trump and eradicating them, throwing all kinds of bombs on them. I don't care what what it ends up with dropping a nuclear bomb on them. It wouldn't bother me one bit. I wouldn't lose one bit of sleep by seeing them atomized by a nuclear bomb. I probably would even sleep better, because at least I know I'd be more secure in my sleep. I know I'm going to wake up more secure. But the Democrat Party wants to do differently. They want to support this. They want to support what's happening to Cuba, what's happened to Cuba for more than 60 years. They want to support what's happening to Venezuela under Nicolás Maduro. The crisis that the people are living there, where they're fleeing the country by I guess already by the millions. I don't know if they're by the thousand. I think they already must have reached millions, because thousands and thousands of them. Maybe haven't reached it yet, but boy, I think it's getting there. Or North Korea, and in Nicaragua, where there's no freedom of press yet. You can't hear nothing from there. It's turned into another silent state like North Korea. And China is the same. In China, there's a lot of things that we're not knowing about. I don't know how these people are lucky enough to get out information about what's happening, because there's some information. Hey, Danny DeVito, Robert De Niro, do you want to get to a point where you have to eat human flesh? Or, I mean, human meat, not flesh, but human meat. Do you want to come to that point? Because in China, they're practicing cannibalism. I already said that before. But I guess that's what they want. I guess these people want that. They want to eat a nice roasted baby from these people who want to abort kids, babies who are already born. Maybe chop them up and roast them. Like they would roast a pig. Would you like that, De Niro and Danny DeVito? Roasted baby? You know that in China, they're taking the prisoners. Who knows, maybe dissidents, people who oppose the regime, and cutting them up and selling the meat. I saw it. I saw a picture with a foot of a human being wrapped up in a how do you call it, cellophane, wrapped up. A human feet. And they're using that and giving it out, to people to buy and eat. Are you capable of eating that? Well, they're so evil. They might say yes. So I wouldn't doubt it. Because all people that are evil, they'll do anything. They don't care. They don't care about any. They don't have no feeling for anybody but themselves. Okay, let me go with another one here. Robert De Niro. What a face. This guy is a flat out communist. This guy. Robert De Niro. Look what it says here about Robert De Niro. I found this out and Discover the Networks. Discover the Networks. I guess that's the name of the page. But I found this information out because they were talking about this guy, this individual, this fiend, who portrayed personalities in his movies who are more or less what he is. If you go to Alex Jones' program, I recommend everybody to go there. Everybody that can. I know it's a long. They take about 2 hours or something, but hey, they cover so much, and so important that I advise a lot of the followers who watch my videos or go into my blogs on my Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, or my blogger. I pledge allegiance to the flag. If you go to my pages, check Alex Jones. I guarantee you're gonna find out things that you never knew about. Because I found out about things that I said, wow, I didn't know about this point. I didn't know that Robert De Niro went to a school that they called the Red School. Let me see if I'm saying it right. Yeah. No. They call it the Little Red Schoolhouse. Because those who taught there were from the extreme left. I don't know if it was done by his father, who recommended that school, his mother. His father, who was gay, who left his wife after 2 years. I think his mom decided to divorce him, or he just left. Okay, it says here. Let me read the whole thing. I don't want to say something that's not right. Robert De Niro Jr. was born on August 17, 1943, in the Greenwich Village section of Manhattan. Both of his parents were accomplished artists. De Niro's father was a secret homosexual who divorced his wife in 1945. Also, it was him who decided to divorce because he no longer fell for his wife. He fell for men. I have nothing against a homosexual, let me put it this way. But when people like Robert De Niro, who tries to enforce his political views by supporting people who have turned a party who have turned completely communist, then I got a beef with this guy, and I had to denounce him, and I want everybody to know what kind of an individual this guy is. He's disrespectful. He's evil. And he, let me tell you what, he's no patriot. And I'm gonna read. I'm gonna read. You're gonna learn why I'm telling you this. And if you don't believe me, go to the. Well, let me show it to you right here. Discover Networks. That's where I got this from. But I got it because I was hearing the Alex Jones program today, and I heard about this, and I was saying, and then I was wondering why this guy hates Donald Trump so much, and it's all the time supporting evil, no matter who it comes from. Be from Michael Moore, be from AOC, be from George Soros, be from Bernie Sanders, be from Elizabeth Warren, Maxine Waters, all these communists. And I was figuring out now there's a. Let me start reading. Robert De Niro Jr. was like, okay, I already read that part. I already told you he was divorced by his wife. He declared himself a homosexual. When De Niro Jr. was in the seventh and eighth grade, he attended Elizabeth Irwin High School, a Manhattan institution famous for its radical politics and commonly known as the Little Red Schoolhouse. Most of his teachers were members of the American Communist Party. Other prominent alumni of this school include the former Weather Underground terrorist Kathy Bodine, lifelong communist Angela Davis. You must have known who Angela Davis was. Then I think fled to Cuba for killing a cop. If I'm not mistaken, that's the Angela Davis they're talking about. Michael and Robert Meeropol, sons of atomic spies, Julius and Ethel Rosenberg. The Nation publisher Victor Novalsky, and folk singer Mary Travis. Developing a love for theater at an early age. Well, I just wanted to mention that part. But let me go down to a further part where he starts speaking sarcastically. Let me see. Let me go to this part here because I just don't want to read the whole thing because it really has nothing to do with what I want to express here and denounce the character of this guy. He's such a communist. He's such an extreme leftist that he even criticized Obama, who was another communist and Muslim. He said here, he did not. Okay, that's it. Okay, let me go a little bit further back. Nero addressed the claims of critics who have said that Obama's political resume was too thin to qualify him for the White House. Okay, wait a minute. It wasn't De Niro. Barack Obama doesn't have the experience to run for president of the United States, said De Niro sarcastically. And I can prove it. Oh, so he did make comments against Obama. He did not have the foresight to vote for the Iraq War, you know. That's the kind of experience I can get used to. That's kind of an experience our country deserves. When receiving a Cecil B. DeMille Lifetime Achievement Award at the Golden Globe Award ceremony, January 2011, De Niro, in his acceptance speech, used humor to mock the U.S. immigration law. I'm sorry, more members of the Hollywood foreign press aren't with us tonight, but many of them were deported right before the show, along with most of the waiters and Spanish act and Javier Bardem, referring to the Spanish actors. For the rest of you, I hope your papers are in order because Homeland Security will be checking them just as soon as they're through with the full body scans of Megan Fox. On March 2012 fundraiser for Barack Obama's re-election campaign, De Niro listed the wives of several Republican presidential candidates: Callista Gingrich, Karen Santorum, Ann Romney, and Joe Now, do you really think our country's ready for a white first lady? This guy is just incredibly stupid. Let me go to the bottom. Let me see. Okay, he made some very terrible comments against Trump. He called Trump an effing fool, an effing idiot, the baby in chief, the jerk in chief. I wonder if I would have said that about Obama. I probably wouldn't be here. I'd probably be in prison. Here's another thing that he said. There has not been one thing about this person that has been redeeming. He's referring to Trump. As far as I can see, nothing. For the Republicans who have fallen in line with him, I don't understand it. It's a disgrace. It's beyond a disgrace. Shame on them. Shame on all of them. Pigs have dignity. He has no dignity. He is a disgrace to the human race. I like to see a bag of, let me put it this way more lightly, human feces. He said in another word, starting with S, right in his face. Hit him right in the face like that and let the picture go all over the world. He needs to be humiliated. He needs to be confronted and humiliated by whoever his opponent is, his political opponents. That's the expression of Robert De Niro. But when Obama was giving out billions to our enemies, that was okay for De Niro. You see, communists support everything that's against us. They support all our enemies, and that's what Robert De Niro was one of them. So he didn't say nothing about that. He didn't criticize Obama for that. That was okay to him. Why? Because he's a communist. And the same thing with all of them. But the worst of them speaking, talking about criticizing Trump's speech and the way he talks. What was this, De Niro? Your mouth is a toilet bowl. That's what we're speaking about. The communists are like that. All of them are like that. And they will all express in one way or another, criticizing and talking terribly. You even heard Talib. Another like I say, we could call it now criminal organization. Another Democrat, Tlaib, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, I really don't care, supports evil too. Ian Omar, I think she shut her mouth because she's she's ready to go to prison because they have a couple of cases thrown at her where she's liable to be thrown in prison and then deported. So I haven't heard much about her anymore. Maybe she's scared to death, and she should be. Our Attorney General right now, Bill Barr, I think his name is. He's going after them from right to left, which I'm glad. It was about time. It's about time we had somebody strong enough to just say, hey, wait a minute, these people got to go, period. Okay, I'm finished with this dirtbag. Let me go with another article that was that made me investigate here, which I heard in Alex Jones' program, where he was interviewing this person who seems like he was a real high person, very important person. He was a very important person in the military and as an advisor. As an advisor and other things. I just can't remember right now. I wish I put the video, but this video, Alex Jones' video is so long. But hey, I recommend everybody go there. Go and hear the video. And believe me, you're going to learn things that you never knew about. I didn't know about this Robert De Niro thing, going to a school, the school called Red Schoolhouse, the Red Schoolhouse. And now it makes me realize why he's such a hateful person. And the Pope now is another deal. Okay, the Pope, according to what I was hearing in the Alex Jones show, he had ties to Argentina's right-wing junta. Junta. I don't know how you pronounce it in English. I think it's in Spanish we call junta. In English, I guess it's junta. Junta. Well, look, I hear this, and I was reading a little bit about this about Argentine human rights organization, and Pope Francis tied to Argentina's dictatorship. I guess I don't know if it was Perón. I think it was Perón who was in charge of that country, because then they had the other one in Chile. No. I just want to keep talking things that I'm not sure about. But I think it was Perón in Chile, digo, in Argentina. And I'm sure it was him. Jorge Mario now new pope has long been dogged by accusation of his role during Argentina's military dictatorship. We speak. Look, I'm not going to read any further because there's one thing that I don't agree with this. In part, I understand what's happening. And I understand the history of the dictatorship because I've read before. But the difference is the Argentinian dictatorship was an extreme right dictatorship, but it wasn't a Nazi regime where exported Jews. The contrary, they had a community. As a matter of fact, a lot of Jews were going to Argentina to live under that dictatorship. So the Argentinian dictatorship protected its Jews. If it's against the communists, which I've read that according to what I've read, this pope they have right now in the Vatican is a communist, and to expressions he's made gives me the reason to believe he is. And if things were happening, because I wouldn't doubt that if people were executed or disappeared during that dictatorship, and they were communists, that doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me because look what they're trying to do in Argentina and Chile right now, the communists, with a lot of Cuban spies, a lot of communist Cuban spies. They're trying to overthrow their freedom. They're trying to destroy it. So it doesn't bother me a bit what happened, or this evil fiend from the Vatican promoted that, because they are all evil. Communists are all evil. So it doesn't surprise me a bit. But if they did it, if the dictatorship of Argentina did it in order to control the country and protect it against communism, I'm okay with that. You might call me evil. You might call me depraved, degenerate, whatever you want to call me. Hey, as long as we can have somebody to protect us against communism and Islam, hey, I'm okay with it. It doesn't bother me one bit. I will not lose an hour's sleep about it. The contrary, I'll feel more safe and I'll sleep better. Because look what's happening in the United States. Unfortunately, democracy has proven to be weak because look what's happening. I hate to say it because it's the best system in the world. We're the best country in the world, and the communist country now, disguised as Democrat Party, are trying to bring it down. They're trying to bring down the house. They're trying to destroy everything we have gained with our founding fathers. They're trying to cancel, remove the Constitution. As a matter of fact, some of them have even said, hey, by ignorance, because it's not 500 years old, that the Constitution is 500 years old, which is a stupidity because it's not 500 years old. But that's the kind of argument one of them said. And if it's like that, it should give you an idea what kind of a people these Democrats turn into. Completely communist. Or a criminal organization supporting evil. Any kind of evil. They're even supporting the destruction of Israel. Bernie Sanders, who's of Jewish descent, supporting Palestine, Hamas. So, what do you think about that? What do you think? Is Bernie Sanders right, or he's just a plain out traitor to his own people, and traitor to the true God of Israel, a traitor to the Bible? You figure it out. You figure out that way, because I'm just trying to inform you and trying to educate you, if I can, which I hope I can, so you can understand what's happening. Okay, I'll finish with this other feed. Goodbye, Pope. Well, those are the two things I wanted to talk about. And like I say, watch Alex Jones. Today, the 12th, 25th, 19. Okay, this was yesterday. This came out, the video came out yesterday. I posted it today in an area that I wanted to say to speak about it today. And I was hearing it this morning. Because like I say, it came out yesterday. I don't know what time it was, but I didn't see this until today. But it's tremendous. I was hearing it and I said, wow. This was my message for today, to talk about this. But I guess I'm over it now. So let me go to okay. Today in American history, I want to talk about something about American history. Okay, there we go. You know, I was doing this in Spanish for the Cuban community and for the Latino community. I was getting out dates, historic dates. I used to do this in the past a lot. When I started off with the first blog that I had, which is Cuba Noticias Disidentes, and I would post dates, historic dates, what happened today in the history of Cuba. I used to do it for my island of Puerto Rico, but it was impossible. You know, there was a lot of how you call it? I just couldn't get into the pages. I had to pay money to get into the historic archives of the Department of History here in Puerto Rico, or the archives of the historic books and history of Puerto Rico. Just forgot the name of it. But I couldn't. They wanted to charge me money, and since there wasn't much to talk about, because what I want to talk about the violation of human rights in these communist countries, and here we're living, you know, part of the American dream. We're free. You know, there's really not much to talk about. So what I did is I eliminated the page, and I said, what the hell with that? Because I'm not going to pay money for something that I was going to do for free. So this is what happened today, the 26th of December. Okay. The Battle of Trenton. The Battle of Trenton was a small but pivotal battle during the American Revolutionary War, which took place on the morning of December 26, 1776 in Trenton, New Jersey. At the General George Washington's crossing of the Delaware River north of Trenton the previous night, Washington led the main body of the Continental Army against Hessian I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Hessian with H. Auxiliary garrisons at Trenton. After a brief battle, almost two-thirds of the Hessian force was captured, with eligible losses to the Americans. The battle significantly boosted the Continental Army's fledgling morale and inspired re-enlistment. I don't know if a lot of people remember or remember studying that Washington's army uh, uh, was suffering a lot with lack of food, clothing for the weather. You know, a lot of people were deserting, or people didn't want to enlist, or it was terrible. During a very critical time. You know, even though the people wanted independence against the British, you know, being in the army during that time, and Washington knew it. But anyway, he got help from, I think it was from France, and finally, receiving a lot of help, and people supporting his efforts to seek independence from England, who was taxing us to no end, will inspire people to join again. And his heroism to cross that Delaware River, and the men who followed him, it inspired a lot of people, and they decided to join. Well, this happened on today's date, 1776. Okay, now we're going to go to another little bit before I finish here. I forgot to put something from a famous singer. I forgot that part, but anyway, okay, I'm going to go with this. Film. It's a very old film from Edison, from 1889. Very short, so it's not going to last too long.
Hello, I'm Kerry Decker. Thomas Edison was an innovator, a celebrated businessman, and above all, the world's most creative inventor of the 20th century. It was his genius that brought sight, sound, and light to the world. But the road to the first successful motion picture was not easy. Edward Muybridge, 1830 to 1904, was an accomplished English photographer, known primarily for his early use of multiple cameras to capture motion, and his zoopraxiscope, a device for projecting motion pictures that predated the celluloid film strip that is still used today. Muybridge successfully photographed a horse in fast motion using a series of 24 cameras. The first experiment successfully took place on June 11, 1878. He used a series of 12 stereoscopic cameras, 21 inches apart, to cover the 20 feet taken by one horse stride, taking pictures at 1,000th of a second. The cameras were arranged parallel to the track with tripwires attached to each camera shutter triggered by the horse's hooves. He used the same technique with other animals. However, these were all a series of still photos viewed in sequence, and Edison wanted something better to represent motion. He wanted to do for pictures what he'd done for sound. Thus, he went back to the wax cylinder for inspiration. He drew up a series of sketches as he envisioned a new version of a phonograph. He used the same principle of a metal cylinder, but this time had a series of tiny sequential photos attached that, when hand cranked and viewed through an eyepiece, gave the illusion of motion. In the following two sequences, he told the subject to gyrate and move around, monkey shines as he called them. Now, from 1889, here is the first true motion picture ever made.
Wow, that's very impressive and very prehistoric. I wanted to put a song here because I'm very fond and supportive of movies from the 50s. I mean, songs from the 50s, rock and roll era, the early rock and roll era of the 50s. So maybe next time I'll get a song before I get on air and have you hear a song. There's a lot of beautiful songs from that era. I mean, I would call it the golden age of beautiful music, beautiful music. Well, that'll be all. God bless my country. God bless Donald Trump. God bless his family. And may everybody have a pretty soon a very happy New Year's and together with your families. And I'll see you. That'll be it. Bye bye.